Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. This is my monthly video on the best expansions for board games coming to retail. Retail is any option for you to get the game easily and immediately, through a friendly local game store or a publisher's website, things like that. I've got 11 great expansions for you here in June 2025. Also, come see me do Green Team Wins live at the world-famous Comedy Store in Hollywood on Sunday, July 6th. I'll put link to tickets in the description of this video. I got a bunch of guest comedians. We're going to be mixing traditional stand-up with gameplay. The whole audience is going to play together. It's going to be great. This is the first time we're doing it, and I'm really excited. So come on July 6th. All right, let's hear about some of these games. First up this month, we have the Mandalorian Adventures Clan of Two expansion from Asmodee and Unexpected Games. This plays 1 to 4 players in about 60 minutes, and it is a medium weight game, but maybe on the lower end of medium weight game. The Mandalorian Adventures came out last year, I believe. Cooperative campaign game with a story element. You are playing through the stories and the adventures of the Mandalorian, and that's one of the main reasons that you would like it, is that theme. If you're a fan of the Mandalorian TV show, then you might like this game. Or if you like, cooperative adventure games where you're, exploring different maps and boards and, leveling up your character, that also might be a reason that you would like the Mandalorian Adventures. Well, this Clan of Two expansion adds more missions to the game. So if you've already played through all of the missions in the base game, there are now 4 new story missions on 4 new locations in this mission book. So, a bunch more story and opportunity to play Mandalorian stories. These follow stories of the Mandalorian as well, so playing through stories that you might know already. And there's also 4 new characters in this game, in this expansion, and each of the characters has different play styles, skills, tactics, tricks, all that stuff. So, that adds a lot of replayability to the game too, adding 4 new characters. There's also a number of other new content in this one. New enemy types, ongoing events, a dual deck, and more that can be integrated in with the base game. Bezier Games is releasing Rebel Princess Happily Never After. This is a 3 to 6 player game, plays in about 45 minutes, and it is a lightweight card game. Rebel Princess also came out, I think, last year, and it is a trick-taking game, and the sort of hook of the trick-taking game is that you are princesses and you do not want proposals from princes. So you are trying to not win tricks that have the prince suit in the trick. Likewise, otherwise, you want to stick other people with prince cards. That's how you would give them points, and then you want to have the least points possible. One of the fun things about the game is that it's played over a series of rounds, and each round you reveal a card that kind of changes the rules for the round, changes how you're going to play cards or what you're looking for. So this expansion adds 6 more of those round cards. So a new challenge for each round, a new fun way, tweaking the rules for that round. It also adds 2 new princess tiles, and each princess has a sort of once per round special ability, and it adds another score pad. So this is a very small box expansion for Rebel Princess. Bezier Games is also releasing Xylotar Unhinged. This plays 2 to 5 players in about 30 minutes, and it is a lightweight card game. Xylotar was one of my top small box games of the year last year, one of my top sort of unique, innovative games of the year. It was a trick-taking game that combined a deduction element with it. You played out all of your cards in front of you, but you do not see what the value of your card is. Instead, each suit has a number range on the back of it. It might say this suit is 0 to 4, this one is 0 to 6. And so you knew somewhat about your hand based on the backs of the cards. You're like, okay, I think this is probably pretty low. I think this one is probably pretty high. And so you were playing tricks, playing cards into a trick-taking system and trying to win tricks, but you don't know exactly what information you are playing until you play it. And then there's this deduction aspect of it where you play a card and you're like, oh, okay, if that is a 4, that means everything to the right of this is less than a 4 and everything to the left of this is more than a 4, and you were kind of learning and deducing about your hand as you play. Really cool game. This expansion adds 2 new modes to the game. There's sort of 2 expansions in this same expansion box. There's the bonus beats expansion, which gives each player unique power cards that can be played once through the game. So, you know, a cool special ability for you to have during the game. And the other one is these off-key cards. They are half value cards. They're sort of off-key, and so, oh, instead of having a 5 and a 6, now you might have a 5.5, and you got to try to deduce that and figure that out as you're playing the game, is where you might have these half numbers that beat certain things and lose to other things being a half number. So yeah, if you like trick-taking or deduction, then Xylotar is cool, and Unhinged adds some new stuff to it. One of the games I talked about in my Best Games Coming to Retail video this month was the game Positano. It was a bidding game and then a building game. You were bidding for spots on this sort of tiered board, and then you were also bidding for the types of building blocks you would get, and then you were building these buildings on this tiered structure and getting different types of roofs, and you were trying to maintain your view of the ocean. If someone came to a lower tier and blocked some of your building, you'd lose points because now you no longer have a view of the ocean. They're doing an expansion called Positano, the Crowded Cliffside. This plays 4 to 6 players in 20 to 45 minutes, and it is a lighter weight game. The base game only plays 4 players, so now you can play with 5 and 6 players. It adds the building pieces to be able to accommodate more players. It adds a bit more board, so instead of a 4x4 grid on this tiered board, now it's a 5x5 grid, so larger cliffside. It also adds a solo mode for the game, so if you want to play it solo, you can do that. It's certainly a game that's easy to teach and has a lot of table presence, so it looks really cool, all the 3-dimensional buildings on the board at the end of it. That is from Flat River Games and Slugfest Games. I don't think I said that before. Hachette is releasing In the Footsteps of Darwin Correspondence. This is in association with Sorry We Are French. Plays 2 to 5 players in 20 to 30 minutes, and it is a lightweight game. In the Footsteps of Darwin was a set collection game where you were moving this ship around the board and then taking a tile associated with sort of the row and column that the ship was in, and then there was a set collection aspect to adding these tiles to your player board, your area, your grid, and you know, those would get you different benefits and score you points in different ways. So this expansion, you can gain the support of historical figures and make fascinating new discoveries thanks to several new features for the game. There are publication tokens, there are classification tokens, there are envelope tokens, and new characters in the game. So, you know, more for the set collection, more for the comboing of different things together. If you want a family weight game, In the Footsteps of Darwin is a great family weight game, and now there's more for it. Inside Up Games is releasing Earth Abundance. This plays 1 to 6 players in 45 to 90 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. The base game of Earth plays 1 to 5 players, so you'll notice I said 1 to 6 players. So one of the things this does is adds a 6th player and components for that. If you haven't played Earth before, it is a great game with a tableau building, engine building aspect to it. You are activating these actions and then adding cards, paying for cards, adding them in your tableau, adding growth to those cards, using soil to do stuff. A lot of cool combos between the cards, a lot of engine building with the game. One of the best things about the game is there's a ton of simultaneous play. When one person does an action, you can do a follow action that isn't quite as good as the action they chose, but you're always doing something. Every turn you are invested because you're always going to get to do something every turn. So this game adds a few different things beyond just the 6-player ability. There are these seeds. You can get these seeds and you can spend a seed to germinate. And germinate means you can look through the deck to add a very specific card to your hand. So it gets you more control over what you want in your hand. You know, in the base game, you're sometimes just at the mercy of what you're drawing from the deck. Well, now you can spend one of these seeds and then go, I want a mushroom card. And then you just start flipping over the deck until you find a mushroom card and then add that to your hand. So that's kind of cool. You know, you get a little bit more control over what you get to put in your hand. One of the other things in this game is a lot of the cards that you add to your tableau. When someone takes an action, you can often activate these cards in your tableau based on certain colors, and that's part of the engine building aspect of it, where you're like boom, boom, boom. Well, now if you activate some of those cards have benefits for other players as well. You're like, I'm activating this card, I'm getting this, but then you also all get that. It's all positive stuff, so it adds more player interaction, but not mean player interaction. You're just kind of getting more stuff along the way, and so that's cool. It adds a lot of different cards, and there was already a lot of setup variability in Earth, and now there's even more variability with all these different cards in the game. So if you like Earth, then definitely check out Abundance. Lucky Duck Games is releasing The Dark Quarter Lost to the Night. This plays 1 to 4 players in 120 to 180 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. The Dark Quarter came out this month, and they're releasing an expansion at the same time. The Dark Quarter is a narrative campaign game, a detective style game, but set in a dark noir world. Like, it is an adults only game based on just the theme of the game. You're investigating murders and things like that. And so this expansion is the same thing. It is a narrative campaign game, but now there is a new story. This is a new story that you can play through. You are investigating the disappearance of a teenage girl in 1980s New Orleans. So same detective style aspect, but a story that doesn't exist in the base game. So, if you've played through all of the campaign of the base game, this is a new campaign for you to play through, a new story that has linked scenarios, and the choices you make are gonna, change the story and stuff. So yeah, that is The Dark Quarter Lost to the Night. Off the Page Games is releasing a number of expansions to their new game, Core of Discovery, a game set in the world of Manifest Destiny. Core of Discovery came out last month, I think, and now 4 expansions are launching for it. Core of Discovery is a cooperative deduction game. There is a board with a lot of tokens that are face down, and you have a sheet that gives you sort of rules for that game, and you're deducing, because if I know that this is wood, then I know a stream needs to be nearby. And so as you're flipping over tokens, you're learning what is out there and then using those for benefits and abilities and stuff. There's also monsters mixed in with the board, and so you're trying to avoid those monsters or defeat those monsters as you're learning about the board state. And there's a bunch of sheets and setup scenarios, so there's replayability in that aspect. The first expansion I will talk about is Core of Discovery in Expansion 1, Insecta. This plays 1 to 4 players in 45 to 60 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. You are trying to find ingredients to make an insecticide, and then using that insecticide to concoct a poison that can, defeat these giant insects that are on the board. There's a bunch of bad insects, and you are trying to find ingredients to build this insecticide so you can defeat those giant insects before they take out your team and cause a loss in the game. And so, similar deduction aspect, but just kind of with these new monsters mixed in. The second expansion is Core of Discovery Vameter, I'm not exactly sure how to say that. Plays 1 to 4 players, 45 to 60 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. In this expansion, you share a mutual enemy with this new species, this blue feathered wing species, and that new mutual enemy is Vameter, a winged predator that claims the heads of its victims. And so you are working together with this new species on the board to try to weaken Vameter and then trap it. You want to, close in around Vameter, chase him around the board, and then line up your shots and surround to kill it. So again, that it doesn't get away or doesn't ruin your experience and lose the game for you. The third expansion for Core of Discovery is Maldonado. This plays 3 to 4 players in 60 to 75 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. This adds 2 modes to the game. There is a cooperative mode and a hidden trader mode. In either of the mode, there is a spirit, a long dead conquistador named Maldonado, and he is trying to exert his evil influence over your team and the core. In the co-op mode, Maldonado's influence is felt on you, and you need to work together to save your entire crew. In the trader mode, one of you will be under Maldonado's sway, so you will need to root out the weak link to save your crew. That person that's under Maldonado's sway is trying to sabotage the group and make you lose the game, and you need to figure out who that is. So yeah, that's a fun, twist on the deduction gameplay here. And then the last expansion is Core of Discovery Expansion 4, Fog. This plays 1 to 4 players in 60 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. In this, you can no longer rely on all of your pre-existing knowledge of the board, because the fog causes a change to each terrain rule. So I mentioned a rule before, like if this is here, then that means water has to be nearby. Well, this changes those rules, but you don't know how. And so part of the deduction is not only figuring out where stuff is, it's figuring out how the rules have changed. And if this is true, then this must be true. And so you have to figure out that as you go. It also includes reference boards and new maps, so you can play each of the previous chapters with fog as well. If you want to change the rules, the deduction rules in previous chapters, you can do that with fog as well. So there we go. That is those are 11 expansions coming to retail here in June. Thanks so much for being here. Please like, subscribe, share the videos, all that sort of stuff. I try to bring you all the information every month. You're always welcome to check out my Patreon, patreon.com/GrantsGameRex. Thank you so much, everybody. Hope you're having fun playing games out there.